Peace, family. Vicki Dillard here. Thank you so much for tuning into African Diaspora News Channel. Please make sure that as you come in, you give us a big thumbs up and share the broadcast. When you do that, you make it more likely that other people will know that we're here. And by doing that, you strengthen our collective global Black voice. Thank you so very much. Family, it is very interesting now. All of a sudden, them folks, mainstream media, and the powers that shouldn't be are talking about Haiti now, gangs, and the need for outside intervention. This is such a predictable pattern of propaganda that the United States has used over many years to justify its presence and, of course, its theft and fleecing of Haiti's resources and hijacking and commandeering their governments and placing puppets, U.S. puppets in place. I want you to watch this brief clip.
Through the town, the gang that controls the area opened fire with machine guns.
The gangs are shooting at us. I'm looking for shelter.
Local rights groups say many people were killed and dozens wounded, and some people were kidnapped. Some have accused the organizer of the march of being irresponsible, saying parishioners with machetes were no match for gang members armed with assault weapons. Gang violence has grown out of control in Haiti. Up to 80% of Port-au-Prince is now under the control of armed groups. This year alone, 2,400 people have been killed and nearly 1,000 kidnapped. Fed up with the surge in violence, some people organised a vigilante movement in April that targets and kills suspected gang members. A spiralling pattern of violence, and every day members of the public are increasingly paying the price.
Okay, family, did you see that? Now, I really dug into this and I started to look for alternative voices who were actually on the ground, and I came up with this Washington reporter by the name of Dan Cohen. He showed actual footage as a member of basically alternative media who talked about the fact that the media pushing this notion of gangs, he mentioned that people on the ground said that there is a pastor there by the name of Pastor Marco. He said he sent some of his churchgoers or his parishioners out in the street like sitting ducks to confront these gangs. And when they got into this fight with the gangs, all of a sudden you're seeing this narrative and you're seeing all kinds of footage that shows this confrontation between these churchgoers and these quote unquote gangs. Well, according to Mr. Cohen, his reports from the people that are actually on the ground, they're saying, and he's reporting, it appears that this was a staged fight that may have involved some of the highest folks, even in government, that basically coerced this pastor to send his people out there like quote unquote sitting ducks, Mr. Dan Cohen said. Family, this is a predictable pattern of the United States as well as Western powers. Now, just a little bit of history that I know about coming from the US government. We see, of course, the uprisings throughout the continent of Africa and exposing the hidden hand and the mess makers that control their Black puppets so that they have somebody that's amenable to American and Western fleecing and theft of their resources and control of their country. Well, of course, we here in the United States, the Foundation of Black Americans, we know better than anybody. We are very familiar with this beast. We are very familiar with the workings of the United States of America and their domestic policy because they implement it on us. Talk black to me, somebody. Let me hit the gavel on that. For those of you that don't know, the Vicki Show was a home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. I've been utilizing this and holding courts on multiple platforms for many years. And I utilize the gavel because I want you to know that the gavel is not a symbol that's just supposed to be for the oppressive class to use. They're legislators, they're assembly persons, they're council persons, they're parliamentarians, and they're judges. I want you to know that your word matters. Well, what we know from the United States of America, as I was talking about the different coups that happened throughout the continent, guess what? How many of you all know that there were two George Bushes that were in office in the United States? Bush 1, while he was in office, forced out the democratically elected president, Mr. Aristide. Mr. Aristide, as I remember, was formerly a Catholic Black priest. He ended up leaving the priesthood and ended up by an overwhelming majority being voted in from the streets, from the people. They voted him in overwhelmingly as their president, their democratically elected president. Bush 1 had him removed from office by force. After Bush 1, Bill Clinton came in office. Guess what Bill Clinton did? Bill Clinton restored Mr. Aristide back to his rightful place. And just think about that. But Bill Clinton had a trick. Bill Clinton, the Democrat, came in like he was a friend to Haiti, put him back in office physically, but he negotiated a terrible and diabolical rice tariff deal with Haiti, which is what helped to plunge them further into poverty. When Bill Clinton got in office, Bush 2 became president of the United States. Guess what Bush 2 did? Bush 2 removed Aristide a second time. The U.S. government, buying through their agencies, put him on a plane, did not tell him where they were taking him, and told him if he didn't get on there, that they were going to delete him. These are facts, beloved. In modern day, in our time, the United States, point blank period, disrupted and threatened to take out Mr. Aristide and literally physically removed him on a couple of occasions. Don't forget that. And of course, we know about their natural resources there in Haiti as well. We also know that America and some of the Western powers have put in their puppets there that are amenable to the United States. So they always have to show there's a problem on the ground to justify their presence. But because we have been exposing America's hidden dirty hand behind the uprisings there and the removal of their previous president and threatened to take their life, America is hiding now behind their African brothers and sisters in Kenya. Did you hear what I said? Have you all seen now where they're saying that Kenya has brought in their police to help stop the unrest allegedly in Haiti? This is the United States pushing this false flag destabilization. They are pushing this narrative of destabilization. And if you look up what's happening in mainstream media, they're pushing the same narrative, and they're trying to do that to get permission from the UN Security Council so they can intervene and do what she always does. Guess what, Mr. Dan Cohen, that alternative Washington reporter, said? He showed images of the so-called 2 gang factions that's trying to negotiate peace. And they have said they do not want outside forces. So the very ones that your mainstream media now is saying is gang banging, there's violence. The 2 so-called gang leaders are sitting down talking about negotiating with peace in its early stages. Of course, they got a ways to go, but it's not what the media is saying. The mainstream media is saying it is. Why? We know why the mainstream media isn't showing you that. But thank God for platforms like African Diaspora News Channel that's bringing you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we're doing it our way. Keep that in mind. We would admonish, with all respect to the United States of America, America, our ancestors shed blood here. The reason why we are asking you to do what is right so that you can save your own life. We're telling you to do what's right by us through justice and reparations and stop mess making in other melanated countries so that you're able to survive. But America, your arrogance seems more like you're trying to instigate and propagate this notion of Armageddon. And that won't end well for you in the prophetic sense. I teach these supernatural principles, and I teach us how we can be fortified with supernatural powers so that we're the ones that's going to win, just like Gideon in the 300. I teach this in my spiritual school at clubvicki.com. That's clubvicki.com. I hope you join. Your life will never be the same. Be sure to share this broadcast. I can't wait to see you again.